लाभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोभा जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंद यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव. So we are reading from Madhya Leela, chapter 25, and today we will be reading text 21 to 33. So this is normally when we read Bhagavad Gita, it's all in Sanskrit. Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. This is in Bengali. Yeah, so that's the mother tongue of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the Bengali language. So you want to repeat after me, or it's okay if I read? What do you prefer? I will read it, yeah? Okay. उपदेशो लक्षा करे कृष्ण संकीर्तन सर्वलोको हासे गाए करे नर्तना. Translation: as soon as people received instruction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they began to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Thus everyone laughed, chanted and danced with the Lord. Text 22. প্রভুরে প্রণত হইল সন্ন্যাসীর গণ আত্মমধ্যে গোষ্ঠী করে ছাড়ি অধ্যয়ন. All the Mayavadi sannyasis offered their obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then began to discuss his movement, giving up their studies of Vedanta and Mayavad philosophy. প্রকাশানন্দরে শিষ্য এক তাহার সমান সভা মধ্যে কহে প্রভুর করিও সম্মান. One of the disciples of Prakashananda Saraswati, who was as learned as his guru, began to speak in that assembly, offering all respect to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 24. Sri Krishna Chaitanya হয় সাক্ষাৎ নারায়ণ বাসসূত্রের অর্থ করেন অতি মনোরম. He said Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana himself. When he explains the Vedanta Sutra, he does so very nicely. Text 25. উপনিষদের করেন মুখ্যার্থ ব্যাখ্যান, শুনিয়া পণ্ডিত লোকের জুড়ায় মন কান। Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the direct meaning of the Upanishads. When all learned scholars hear this, their minds and ears are satisfied. Text 26. সূত্র উপনিষদের মুখ্যার্থ ছাড়িয়া আচার্য কল্পনা করে আগ্রহ করিয়া। Translation. Giving up the direct meaning of the Vedanta Sutra and the Upanishads, Shankaracharya imagines some other interpretation. Text 27. আচার্য কল্পিত অর্থ যে পণ্ডিত শুনে, মুখে হয় হয় করে হৃদয় না মানে। Translation. All the interpretations of Shankaracharya are imaginary. Such imaginary interpretations are verbally accepted by learned scholars, but they do not appeal to the heart. Text 28. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bakko Dridho Satya Mani, Kolikale Sannyase Sangsaro Nahi Jani. Translation. The words of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are firm and convincing, and I accept them as true. In this age of Kali, one cannot be delivered from the material clutches simply by formally accepting the renounced order. Text 29. Harer namo shlokar jei korilo bhyakhano, sei satya sukhodartha param pramano. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of the verse beginning Harer Nam is not only pleasing to the ear but is strong factual evidence. Text 30. Bhakti bina mukti nahe bhagavato kayo, kolikale namabhase sukhe mukti hayo. Translation. In this age of Kali, one cannot attain liberation without taking to the devotional service of the Lord. In this age, even if one chants the holy name of Krishna imperfectly, he still attains liberation very easily. Text 31. Shreyo Sriting Bhakti Muddasya Te Vibho, Klishanti Je Kevala Bodha Lakshaya Deo, Te Samasa Keshala Ebo Shikhyate, Nanyodayatha Sthula Tusa Bhagavati Nama. Translation. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for the speculative knowledge or the understanding that these living beings are spirit souls and the material world is false, he undergoes a great deal of trouble. He only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. His actions are like beating a husk that is already devoid of rice. His labor becomes fruitless. Text 32. Jeho nohera bindaksho bhiktimanino, Tvaya Shubhavodi Shuddha Buddhaya, Aroho Krishna Chetra Param Padatato, Pato Ta Bodho Nadrityo Yugmadda Bhrayo, Patyanti Adho Nadrito Yushmad Anagraha. Translation. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but who are devoid of devotional service to you are of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to spiritual position, to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down, and again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. Text 33. Brahma Shabda Kahe Sad Aishwarya Purna Bhagavana, taro nirvishesho sthapi purnato hoyohano. Translation: the word Brahman, the greatest, indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in all six opulences. But if we take the one-sided impersonalist view, his fullness is diminished. So this is the instance where when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was traveling all over India, and once he was traveling from Puri to Varanasi, where Varanasi used to be the nerve center of the Mayavadi philosophy, and all these the Brahmanas or the intellectuals of Varanasi, they were always criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preaching the name of Lord very freely, and he was giving this knowledge to each and everyone without making a very big, very big discourse. He was basically going everywhere and giving the Harinam to whomever he met, and by that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu basically making everybody the devotee of the Lord by just preaching the Harinam Mahamantra. But the Mayavadi philosophers, they were not accepting this, okay, and they were very much critical of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received initiation from the Shankara Sampradaya, okay, Ishwar Puri, and Ishwar Puri's guru was Madhavendra Puri, who was one of the knowledgeable person or very much authority in the Shankara Sampradaya. So these Mayavad philosophy, especially the one led by Prakashananda Saraswati, they have been very critical of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because they did not appreciate his way of preaching, okay, and they were thinking that Mahaprabhu, or they were criticizing in the sense that these are all drama, okay, I mean, a kind of useless things which Mahaprabhu is doing. But Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he always wanted to deliver each and every person, even though those who criticized him. And during this process, in Varanasi, one of the person who got his mercy, they were, or everybody who were the follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were very much pained, okay, in the heart, that what is this? Why this? These philosophers are criticizing Mahaprabhu. So for once and all, they wanted to settle this particular discourse, okay. And in that process, one of the Brahmanas, the Maharashtrian Brahmana, he arranged a gathering at his place, okay, and he invited all the Mayavadi sannyasis of Varanasi, and he also invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, as I said, none other than Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. He wanted to deliver all these Mayavadi sannyasis also, or the Mayavadi philosophers as well. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to come to that gathering. And in that gathering, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and this is, I'm describing all this, prior to this particular conversation. In that particular gathering, when Mahaprabhu came, he came there, and very humbly he sits near the place where people were washing their feet, okay, and he basically take a very humbling position into the gathering of great philosopher, even though he was Lord himself. By seeing this, the Prakashananda Saraswati, he basically came to Mahaprabhu and he requested him that you are such a big sannyasi, and why don't you come here? And they gave him respect and all. So by his acharan, by his behavior, Mahaprabhu already made a big impact. Even before he spoke anything, he made a big impact on the mind and hearts of all the people gathering over there. And then the discussion started, and in the discussion, Mahaprabhu basically goes each and every aspect or the philosophy of this Mayavadi philosophy, and he started basically dismantling each and every argument of the Mayavadis. But any one of you know what is Mayavadi philosophy and why it is called Mayavadi?
They don't believe that the Lord is personal, so it's more impersonal.
Correct. So that's one of their theory, that the Lord has no form. He has no personality, right? And it's all illusion, right? And then the other they have is that Brahma Sat Jagat Mithya, means only the Brahma is the truth, and all this whatever we see here is this all Mithya. Yeah, and also there is no God, in the sense that God has no form. Okay, the impersonalist. Yeah, so that's, and in that context, all this discussion happens, and Mahaprabhu, as you heard, all this shloka which I just read, Mahaprabhu started dismantling each and every point, and this is how Prabhupada talks about this particular shlokas, and I will just go through and read it. Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Mayavadi sannyasi. They were convinced with the arguments and presentation of Lord Chaitanya. And from that day, not only the sannyasis, but also the people in general, they also become very much admired to Lord Chaitanya. And because he defeated the Mayavadi philosophers, many other scholars also began to meet him personally and talk with him, argue with him. So this was going on naturally. Whenever a man becomes prominent, so many others they come to challenge him. That is the natural consequence. The speciality of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was that he used to put a very sound argument, and he used to defeat his opponents in such a way that they were satisfied. They were not inimical and with the evidence of Shastra, not that argumentation. He was putting reasonable arguments and evidences from Shastras and scriptures. Sarva Shastra Khandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara. And the beauty was that he was defeating all the arguments against devotional service. He was establishing only that God is great and we are all meant for serving the Supreme Lord. On this basis, he was arguing and he was defeating others. Upadesho lana kare Krishna Sankirtan, Sarva loko hase gaye kare nirtan. And the whole city became surcharged with Krishna, Hare Krishna, Kirtan. Everyone began to dance and sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They may understand or not understand, but the infection was there that everybody was chanting. Now, think about, this is 550, 600 years back, right? That point of time also there were people who did not understand the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Even in India it was. And after 550 years after that, Prabhupada came to West, and the similar situation. Nobody understood what does this mean. But everybody was dancing and chanting. That is the mercy of the pure devotee. Prabhure pranato hoilo sannyasira gana atma madhye ghosito kare chadi adhyana. Now, so far the sannyasis were concerned, they were practically gave up their Vedanta philosophy. And they simply began to discuss the sublime presentation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they began enjoying that. Prakasanandara Sishya Eka Tanahara Samana Sabha Madhe Kahe Prabhur Koriya Samana. So, after this evidence, one of the chief disciples of Prakashananda Saraswati, he stood up and began to glorify Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the following words. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Haya Sakshat Narayana Vyasa Sutrera Artha Kare Ati Manorama. Amongst the Mayavadi sannyasi, the etiquette is to address one another as Narayana. So in Mayavad, the philosophy is that you are God, I am God. We all are God. Okay. It's all that we are fragments of God. What is the Vaishnava philosophy? That God is God. Not everybody is God. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are not Supreme Lord. That's a very big, difference between Mayavada philosophy. Yeah? That Mayavada philosophy that everybody is God. At the end of the day, you go and merge in the Supreme Brahmana. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clears this doubt. So amongst the Mayavadi sannyasi, the etiquette is to address one another as Narayana. They say Namo Narayana. Everyone is Narayana. I address to you Namo Narayana and you address to me as Namo Narayana. A mutual praising society of Narayana. Narayana Eko Asti. In the Vedas it is said that only Narayana was before creation. So after creation all these living entities become Narayana. This is their philosophy. That there is no separate Narayana. We call that there is a God. Okay? Narayan, Krishna, whatever name we call it. But in terms of Mayavadi philosophy, everybody is God. Okay? So after creation, all these living entities become Narayana. This is their philosophy, that there is no separate Narayana. Narayana has manifested pantheism. Narayana has manifested himself in so many varieties, and the variety is closed. They again, Narayana remains. So, and this is the Mayavadi philosophy. Yeah? So, this Mayavadi sannyasi, they address other as Narayana, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also a sannyasi. So, he is addressing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Narayana, as the Chief Narayan. Nityo Nityam Chetanas Chetananam. As it is stated in Katha Upanishad, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the leader of all other personalities. He is also person. We are also person. But he is leader, Chetanas, of all living entities. He is the supreme living entity of all eternal. He is the supreme eternal. So, the disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati, who was the chief of Mayavadi philosophy in Banaras, he addressed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the chief Narayana, Sakshat Narayana. We are all imitation Narayana, but you are the chief Narayana. Vyasa Sutra Artha Karena Ati Manorama. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special qualification is that he presents Vedanta Sutra in such a nice way that is wonderful. And he presents the import of Upanishad in such a way that everyone becomes pleased by hearing his explanation. So, that so long Shankaracharya, he has imagined some meaning and therefore that is not so pleasing as much as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu interpretation or direct explanation. So we belong to the Mayavati sects, although we hear the Sarika Bhashya of Shankaracharya and we say yes, yes, but actually it does not appeal to us. Here is the important point, and this is Prabhupada is telling, yeah? Just to be clear, this is Prabhupada's lecture. Here is the important point of Mayavadi philosophers. Every one of them, they say that I am God. But actually, he thinks within himself that what kind of God I am. That is the position. But for argument's sake, they will place so many things in support of their views. But actually, any sane man will think that what kind of God I am. I cannot defend myself from the slightest attack of this material nature, and still I claim. So, Mayavadi says that he is God, I am God, you are God. Okay. But at the same time, also tells the God is not under illusion, but we are under the illusion of Maya. Now, considering that particular logic, okay, just think that I am also God. What kind of God I am if I am covered by Maya? It means God is not supreme, Maya is supreme. I mean, very logical explanation, right? If I am God, how come I am overpowered by the illusory energy? Then Maya is God, going by that particular logic. Yeah? So, but they will give different kinds of all very catchy slogans, catchy phrases. Okay. For example, let us read Prabhupada. But they cannot admit frankly, they think like that. That is being admitted here by the chief disciples of Prakashananda Saraswati. That although we say, yes, this is, but it does not appeal our mind, he is frankly saying. So even the Mayavadi sannyasis are also realizing after hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that even though we say like that, but we ourselves are not very confident. Now he says that what Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has said, that is very nice. After hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Vakya Dridha Satyamani Kali Kole Sanyase Samsaro Nahi Jini. What Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has said, that is very nice. And we simply accept this sannyas order. Oh, that will not help us. Simply by accepting changing the garment, colored garment, and without understanding anything properly or dealing properly, that is not the way for salvation. Because according to Sankaracharya, anyone who accepts sannyas, he becomes immediately Narayana, God. He immediately becomes God. So that is being refuted by one of the disciples that this is nonsense. That by simply accepting and changing the garment, I become God. Somebody just take the Geriwa, colored cloth and he becomes God. No, this is not. Actually, one has to understand things as they are. So therefore, the explanation as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is right. Harer naam shlokereli korilo ipakhano sei satya sukhodartha paramo pramano. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained before them that my Guru Maharaj saw me full. Therefore, he has asked me to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So this explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very nice. Bhakti ina mukti nahe bhagavate kayo koli kale nama bhase sukhe mukti hayo. So far salvation is concerned, nobody can be liberated without bhakti, which is devotional service. Bhakti bina, without devotion. So this particular shloka says, bhakti bina means without devotion or without love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without attaining, that is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. As long as you are not surrendered to the Supreme Soul, there is no question from this material world. This is what Bhagavatam said. That just by taking Diksha, just by changing clothes, just by reading some books, you don't become Narayana or you don't become liberated. In order to attain salvation or liberation, you means anybody, okay, need to become a bhakta, go through the devotional service. And that's the injunction of Bhagavatam. Shreya strim bhaktim udasyate bhibo. There is a nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said there that Shreya strim, the real path of salvation, that is devotional service, Krishna consciousness, Shreya Strim Bhaktim, Bhaktim Udasya Te Bhivo. If somebody gives up the path of devotional service, okay, and waste time simply for understanding that this is not Brahman, that this is not Brahman, that is the way of Mayavadi philosophers. They scrutinize that this is Maya and this is Brahman. Therefore, they are called Mayavadi. Simply what is not Brahman, they say it is one. But simply they distinguish. This is Maya, this is Brahman. Why this is Maya? They say where from this Maya comes. Then it becomes dualism actually. Although they say that we are monocyst, one, but they explain that this Maya is illusion. Maya is temporary and actually everything is one. Eko Brahma, Divitya Nasti. But the Vaishnava philosophy is that, yes, it is. It is called Visishta Advaitavad. We also say, yes, one, but one is variety. There are varieties. We don't say that Maya is something external. Maya is there. It is not external. It may be inferior, as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that the material energy is inferior. That doesn't mean some part of my body is inferior. That doesn't mean it has no existence. Like as we said, the Mayavadi said that Brahma Sat Jagat Mithya. All this what we see, these are all false. Okay? Prabhupada is countering that one. Yeah? That doesn't mean it has no existence. It is not Mithya. Okay? They say everything is Mithya. Mithya means false. So inferior part of my body there may be, but it is not false. Okay? I am there, you are there, this material creation is there. This is not false. Okay? But it may be temporary because it's always changing. Yeah? So the Bhagavatam says, simply to understand this is not Brahman, this is Maya, this is not Brahman. If you go on speculating and without any interest of devotional service or Krishna consciousness, then tesam asau kalesha eva sisyate. So their advancement in self-realization is simply troublesome. They simply take the trouble of discriminating that this is Maya, this is Brahman, this is false, this is reality. Because they have no other engagement. For a devotee, there are so many engagements. But the Mayavadi philosopher takes it for granted that these devotees' activities. They are cooking for Krishna, or they are offering prasadam to Krishna, they are decorating Krishna, or they are singing for Krishna, glorifying Krishna. These are all Mayic activities, they say. So as per the activities in Krishna consciousness are Mayic activity. Because this Bhakti Marga is not appealing to them. They simply want to waste time. Real thing is Krishna. Just engage yourself in the service of Krishna. They also say Krishna is also Maya. So Prabhupada once, in the lecture I heard one saying that these Mayavadis literally try to kill Krishna himself by telling Krishna is Maya. Yeah? According to them, Krishna is also Maya. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that they are fool. How? Avajanti mam mudha. Mudha means the fools. They minimize me. They decry me at me. Because I come as incarnation, therefore the fool they consider or they deride at me. They do not know the background of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. Krishna says, I am the Supreme Lord. They do not know. Who do not know? These Mayavadis. Just a second, these are all Prabhupada's words, not mine. So therefore, their labor of love for discriminating what is Maya and what is not Maya is simply troublesome. Just like the skins of rice, when it is taken, there is no more grains. So the grain is separated from the skin by beating. There is a beating machine in India. That is a crude original way of separating grain from the skin. So when the skin is out from the grain, if you simply beat the skin, no more there is a grain. So similarly, if you make minus Krishna and then studies Bhagavad Gita, is simply waste of time and labor of love. That's all, not Krishna. This means the Mayavadi philosophy means simply taking trouble. Bhagavad Gita is all full, simply Krishna. To understand this, it is a science of Krishna. And if somebody says it is not Krishna, then what is that? Simply waste time time and labor. The same thing, the grain is taken out. Simply the skin, enjoy the skin. What is there in the skin? Shreya strim bhakti mudasyote bhibho klishyanti ye kevala bodho labdhayo. Bodho labdhayo. They stress on knowledge. What is this knowledge? You can talk on any insignificant thing for many years. That is not knowledge. Just like in the present modern civilization, so many nonsense articles without any utility or volume of books are sold in the market. There is nothing, no substance. Take for the newspaper, especially in your country, volumes of papers in the news. Just after glancing over it, it is thrown away. That's all, no more use. Just as the newspaper is published early in the morning and just in the afternoon it is useless, it is a heap of paper only because there is no substance. Nobody can take any interest. But see Bhagavad Gita. It is 5,000 years old and a few pages only. And how much care is being taken after Bhagavad Gita? Because there is a real substance into it. Similarly, if you don't accept the substance, simply if you are busy with the skin, in Bengali it is called Chavara Niya Tanake. Chavara means skin. You have seen coconut. The coconut is covered by heavy, what is called fibers. So if you give up the coconut and simply quarrel with the fibers, what is the profit there? There is no profit. Similarly, if you give up God or Krishna, who is the essence of everything, and you make your advancement in scientific knowledge, in physics and chemistry, and so many departments of knowledge. So according to Bhagavat, this is simply waste of time. But what we will gain? Kevala bodho labdhaye. Suppose you understand in your human form of life the whole constitution of the universe, that is stated in Bible also, that if somebody understands everything but not God, then what does he gain? Similarly, there is another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that one may be very much expert to count even the atoms of the universe. You smash the universe and grind it into powder, and you just count all of the atom. That is possible, but still it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, who understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He understands everything. If somebody understands the Supreme Personality, Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead, he understands everything because the God is everything. So we should not make progress in negative way, leaving aside, just like you do not know what you are studying this body. If you do not find out who is the proprietor of the body, who is sitting in the body, so that this body is so nice, fresh, and walking and moving, that you do not find. But you simply were studying what it is called. There are so many big names, but the proprietor of body, the doctor are sitting analyzing. But as soon as the soul passes, they cannot explain what happened. What happened to this meta, I mean to say anatomy and physiology, they stand full. So, Prabhupada is telling this is what is going on. The essence of the things, the essence of the manifestation, cosmic manifestations, they have missed. They are simply analyzing the outward cover. So, the summary of all this discussion is that the Mayavadi, they are basically the example which Prabhupada gives, the skin of the rice or the example of coconut. So they are not going deep into the philosophy and trying to understand God. They are all looking at a very peripheral level, okay, at the very outer side, trying to understand from the outer side, okay. And as much as you do, you can spend your whole life, okay, but there will never be understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met, he destroys each and every logic, okay, of this Mayavadi sannyasi. And Mahaprabhu basically tells this Mayavadi sannyasi that you need to accept the scriptures as it is. You don't need to twist it around. Okay? And the absolute truth is, I'm just summarizing, okay? And the absolute truth is Bhagwan, who is Satchitananda Vigraha. Impersonal Brahman is only his effulgence and not the ultimate realization. The Mayavadis, they go only up to the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence Brahmana. Okay. But Mahaprabhu is telling that he is just an effulgence. It is the effulgence, but that's not the ultimate truth. Yeah. Mahaprabhu states that Mayavad philosophy is dangerous for spiritual life. It denies the form of Lord, okay, and it destroys the devotion among the devotees. He even says Mayavad is covered from Buddhism because it rejects the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mahaprabhu tells that liberation is not. So the Mayavadi says at end of life we will go and merge into the Brahma Jyoti. Mahaprabhu basically destroys this. He said, no, liberation is not merging into Brahman. Loving devotion service to Krishna, awakening one's eternal identity for the service of the Lord, that's called liberation. And in the conclusion, Mahaprabhu says, the Vedanta concludes in devotional service. The Supreme Truth possesses spiritual form, qualities, and activities. And one who chants and serves in the devotion, okay, for the Supreme Personality of Lordhead, his heart becomes purified, and his knowledge becomes awakens naturally. And when he realizes that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are eternally meant to engage in the service of the Lord. Wherever we are, either we are this loka or Vaikuntha loka, okay, the main objective of a jiva, okay, is basically to get his or herself engaged into the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, so that's basically a summary of this chapter 25 of Madhya Leela, Sloka 21 to 33. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you very much for the lecture. I was wondering, how can we defeat the Mayavadis, for example, when they say, how are you sure that we are not emerging into the Supreme? Which arguments can we give?
That we are not merging into the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so the main thing here is that what happens for the Mayavadi, they are telling that there is a Brahma Jyoti, okay, and we are basically, he is God and we are also God, Okay? And at the end of the day, we will be basically going, and when we leave this body, we go and merge into this Brahma Jyoti. That's because we are God, we also merge inside God. So first of all, we just discussed that we are not God. Okay? We are not God. Okay? Because if we are God, then we should have the power of God. Okay? We are under the influence of Maya by very much their logic. Okay, that these are all illusion. So number one is that we are not God. Okay, so they are first that the jiva, which is God Himself, they will end of the day they will merge into Brahma Jyoti. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, number two is that they are, I think it was the last sloka and all, they are limiting themselves up to the Brahma Jyoti. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he says here that it's true there is a Brahma Jyoti, but that's not the final destination. The final destination of the jiva is basically to go to the Vaikuntha Loka. And that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? That if you serve me, if you get yourself engaged into devotional activity, if you think about me, you come back to me. Not, Krishna never said that you go back to Brahma Jyoti. You come back to me, into my abode. And that's the whole explanation in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The Lord Himself says, yes.
They are also studying the Vedas, no?
Yeah, that's what Mahaprabhu said, right? That he says that scripture should be accepted as it is, not twisted. So they are also reading the same, and that's why when Prabhupada came out, he wrote his Bhagavad Gita, he named it Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because he did not try to interpret or put his own concoction and try to derive some false logic and come out with, explanation. He said Bhagavad Gita as it is. Mahaprabhu also said that scriptures should be interpreted as it is. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, that you come back to me. You don't go anywhere. And if you don't come, you basically keep entangled into this 8.4 million species.
So, at the end, do all the Mayavadis, for example, end up in the Brahma Jyoti, or where do they end up?
Look, they may be ending up in some yoni, or those who are devotional service, they are going to Vaikuntha. Okay, but they think that they are ending into Brahma Jyoti. One is that what I think and what actually happens. Right? So their interpretation is that we merge into Brahma Jyoti, but that's not actually happening. So they are not going and landing into Brahma Jyoti.
But it's still possible to end in the Brahma Jyoti, but then you are by yourself, if I understood correctly, or?
I mean, yeah, it's a journey of the soul, right? Okay. And what, from the Bhagavad Gita, what we understand, I mean, in the whole Bhagavad Gita, there is no explanation of Brahma Jyoti, yeah? So, the thing is that if you engage into devotional service, okay, you go back to Godhead. If not, then you have to take birth again, come to this planet and go through this cycle of birth and death, till again you get engaged yourself into the devotional service. But just because you are Mayavadi, you will go to Brahma Jyoti, that's also not true. Because whether you are Mayavadi or not, you are a jiva. Okay? And the jiva's main objective is to basically always serve the Krishna. Okay? And the jiva has particular place. Like, for example, if we do good karma, right, we go to Swargaloka, right? People aspire to go there. Somebody is doing some donations, somebody is feeding somebody food. If you do bad karma, basically those don't follow the four regulative principle, you go to Narakaloka, right? That's the common understanding of the people, Okay, somebody said, oh, in Hinduism, my grandfather has become Swargavasi, means he has got a place in Swarga. Okay, they are happy about it. But from there also you fall down. The moment your quota of good karma is over, okay, you come down to the bhuloka or the cycle of birth and death. So, but the original position of the jiva is basically to attain the Vaikuntha planet. Hare Krishna. So it's a journey, right? Somebody goes up to Brahma Jyoti and then again falls down. Somebody goes beyond that, depending upon his engagement with the devotional service. But the main thing is that, unlike Mayavadis, that you go and merge there and that's it. That's wrong. We don't merge into something. God is there, the jiva is there, the jiva is part and parcel. We are qualitatively same, quantitatively different. The jiva which we have and the Lord, we are same in nature. Qualitatively same, but quantitatively different. But He is God. He is more powerful. He is most powerful. Yeah? Good. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Hare Bol.
I hear that it's also possible to come to Goloka Vrindavan from Ramajati, because some who stay a long time, they see this village is Vrindavan. And also if devotees are going and they think about it, then the mind is also there, and they can also come out from Ramajati. It's not so that all souls fall down, because Krishna is merciful, sometimes organize things.
Different people have their different levels, and based on that, their journey is like that. So somebody will reach levels up to. But this has nothing to do with Mayavadi. The Mayavadi philosophy is that you become the God. That's wrong. All these paths are fine. Okay, who will elevate himself or herself to what position? Okay, but ultimate destination is Vaikuntha, not Brahmajyoti.
Yeah, I mean, even like Brahmajyoti, it is like there, then you're by yourself, right? It's literally no.
Okay, the one thing which we need to do as a jiva, we are independent. Of course, the independence is limited. Okay, so wherever you are, you have the limited independence. I don't know by word what you mean. Okay, but you have limited independence, and based on that activity, we basically stay there or fall down. Okay, so whether in Brahmajyoti or not, everywhere we have this independence is given to us by God. Not everything we do is liked by God, because He has given that like the children, like you have a area, you play, you do whatever you like in that. Okay, but beyond that, there are restrictions. So by nature we are, the way that we are made up, we have limited independence, but not full independence, because everything is not in our control. We don't. If we have full independence, means we can do whatever we like, but that's not the case. Up to certain extent, we are able to do something, but beyond that, we are not.
So Ram Madhacharya became mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these Mayavadi people became also mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, I mean all of them after this incident, okay, all of them became the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the whole Mayavadis. Okay, that's the look, if you look at other preachers, okay, when they preach, they become very, they say my way or highway, right? When they started preaching, okay, they basically, you accept this, otherwise you die. That's what happened in this Arabia and all, right? Somebody said that I am the messenger of the God, and you are forced to accept his message. Okay, but in Vaishnava philosophy, it's not like that. You defeat people by arguments, not by force. So, looking at the behavior of Mahaprabhu and looking at his arguments, all those who assembled into that gathering, okay, they all took up Mahaprabhu's mantra. Even when Keshav Kashmiri, he came to Mayapur, right, he got engaged into discussion, okay, and then he accepted Mahaprabhu as the authority. So to prove your authority in Vaishnava philosophy is not by force, it's by arguments and picking up the sastric injunctions. Okay, that okay, this is what Vedanta says, this is what this says, you know. It's not that, no, you listen to me, otherwise I will kill you. That's a very, we have to see this. It's a very big difference. You know, Iran, that was 200 years back, or 500 years back, it was purely, Parsis used to live there, you know, the Parsi. They are another kind of people. And within 200 years, okay, it became converted to Islam. Not that they accepted, okay, they have been forced to do this. But the Parsis and all the Parsis left Iran and they came to India. Its point, there are hardly 20,000 or 30,000 Parsis. That's only left out of a whole country. But they still keep their tradition alive. Still they think that one day we will go back to motherland. And they are richest in India, just to let you know. You know that Tata? Have you heard this name? Tata. It's the biggest business in India. That is one of the Parsis. So wherever Mahaprabhu traveled, he defeated his opponent by quoting from Sadhu and Shastra. You know, the Shastric arguments, and that's the tradition in Vaishnava philosophy, that we discuss it out. But to discuss something, we need to have a base. We said, okay, this is like Bhagavad Gita. For the Vaishnava philosophy, the base is what? Bhagavad Gita. Even here we did it. It's all, Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. All other arguments fall flat. Because Krishna is saying this. Yeah, so Mahaprabhu, when he traveled to South India, okay, everybody became Vaishnava. And it's not only Mahaprabhu, I will give you another example. Once Buddhism came, once Buddha came, you have heard about Buddha?
Yeah.
So there was a king called Ashoka. Have you heard about Ashoka? So he ruled nearby the area called Patliputra. It is 400 kilometers from Mayapur. Okay. And he was the king there. And he was a Vaishnava, but he became Buddhist because Buddha came, right? And Buddha was no other than Lord himself. But he came at that point because there was a lot of killing or animal sacrifice at that point of time. So Lord took birth as a Buddha to stop those activities. Okay, but Buddhism is again a Mayavadi philosophy. They don't believe in God. So Buddhism was spread all over across India, all the way up to now current Afghanistan, Tajikistan, all this China and all, everybody was Buddhist. When Shankaracharya, you know Shankaracharya,
Yeah.
he started from south of India. He started traveling. That time there was no train, no bus, no car, no flight, no Airbnb, nothing. He traveled all across India, okay, and he defeated all this Buddhist Mayavadi philosopher and established Dharma. Established the Dharma, and he converted the whole India from Buddhist to Vaishnavism or Shankara philosophy, but it's a Hindu philosophy. And at the age of, and all this he did within the age of 23. By age of 23 he left his body. So he travels from 3000 kilometers, and where he leaves his body in Kedarnath, which is 3000 kilometers from his birthplace. So 3000 kilometers this one and 3000 kilometers this one. Now see, and without killing anybody. He did not come and shoot, or you accept this, otherwise I will kill you. No, it's all my discussion. It means it would have taken some time, right? So that's the power of scriptures. You can convince people that what is truth, what is not truth. But nowadays it doesn't happen like that. People kill each other. So that's why in current day and age, the Vaishnava philosophy must be there. Otherwise, everything will vanish, right? Civilization will vanish. Because if we have envy towards each other, all this problem happening in the world because of envy, right? There is no other reason.
How to understand who is Shankaracharya? Is it she herself? Because in Adipura Krishna will speak with you. Or is this like incarnation of Shiva?
No, I haven't read Adikrishna, but Shankaracharya was, he was none other than Lord Shiva himself. He was the incarnation of Lord Shiva. Okay. And he took birth when the Sanatana Dharma was on decline. Okay. It was overpowered by Mayavadis, which was Buddhism. Okay. And he like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he basically started this movement of Hare Krishna, right? Similarly, Shankaracharya, he started this. I don't have any much deep knowledge on that, okay, but Shankaracharya was the Lord Shiva himself. But he praised Lord Vishnu, and he established 4 dham. If you go to India, in Sanatana Dharma, you must visit 4 dham. One is South India, there is a place called Sringeri, okay, in Kerala. Then in North there is a place called Badrinath. In West there is a place called Dwarka. And in East, Jagannath Puri. These are the 4 dhams. These are all established by Shankaracharya. And he was a Shiva Bhakt. But Badrinath is Vishnu. Dwarka is Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Then Jagannath Puri is Lord Krishna. And these are established by whom? Shankaracharya, who was Lord Shiva himself. So we need to think about that. Sometimes people fight about Shiva and Vishnu. Okay? But just give the example of Shankaracharya. He said, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening patiently.
Thank you so much for the lecture. Very nice lecture. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
We are alone.
Really? I thought that the more people would come.
Only the servants.
Yeah.
We are waiting for you also.
And it's always there to make like for 20 people.
Actually, a question. Can you also participate in a Maha cleaning?
Then I have to see, so I have to do it now.
Cleaning?
You have to do, yeah.
Die gleich in die Küche kochen. Machen wir schon 12. Monitor und
Das ist perfekt. Jetzt wo wir Maha cleaning haben, wir haben
keine Leute.
Nee.
Um 11. Ist es okay?
Kann das nicht irgendwie später gemacht werden?
Who?
Tulsi
Tulsi?
service?
I have to do Tulsi now in the morning.
But how long you will?
3 hours, maybe.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Every day?
I have today and tomorrow. But yeah.
But it is done every day?
Yes.
3 hours?
Yes.
Why do you have to do so much?
I have to bathe, water, and then flush my jars, and then clean afterwards. But it takes very long. 2 to 3 hours, depending on how thirsty they are. I mean, I can come and help, but
No, then we are long finished.
Igor Rich takes also here.
No, Gurnish is already there.
Oh.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Богу, спасибо. Сейчас 2 минуты, еще последний.
Как
Спасибо
вы
большое.
хотите, я просто...
Все верну.
Время есть, там не
Спасибо
надо
большое.
бежать.
Шри Кришна, Шри Кришна. Счастье, долго, благословение. Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Харе Харе, Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Харе, Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Харе Харе, Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Харе Харе, Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Rama